We are discussing the introduction of Bhagavad Gita as it is. This is third part of the introduction. And now the today's theme is, as we have mentioned in the text itself, what is the proper way to understand Bhagavad Gita? What is in what mood should we accept Bhagavad Gita to digest the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita? This is the content. So let us read what Srila Prabhupada is explaining. Before going further, whenever we have to take a medicine, we first see what is the proper way to take that medicine, because we are not the doctors, and we make sure that we hear very carefully how to take the medicine. That is the point which we'll emphasize. And if we miss that point, how to take the medicine, so despite our having the medicine will not give the proper result. Make sense? This is the point we have to understand, and this is what Prabhupada is explaining here. Bhagavad Gita is also known as Gita Upanishad. It is the essence of Vedic knowledge and one of the most important Upanishads in Vedic literature. So you must understand, and you must have noticed also that many times the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita are similarly found, similar shlokas are found in other Upanishads. Na jayate re mireta, na jayate mirete va vipaschit. Vipaschit is in Kat Upanishad. And here in Bhagavad Gita, na jayate mirete va kadachit. Anakaschit, kadachana, something like that. The similar shlokas are there because the theme of Upanishad is spoken. In Vedanta Sutra, the 5 topics of Ishwar, Prakriti, Jeev and Kal are discussed, and same topics are there in Bhagavad Gita. So the essence of Vedanta knowledge is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. And that is also we have learned in 13th chapter. Brahma Sutra Padaschaiva Hetu Madbhir Vinaschute. That means what has been told in detail in Brahma Sutra, I am explaining in short or in summary form to you. So that's why it's called Gita Upanishad. Okay, where we were. Of course, there are many commentaries in English on the Bhagavad Gita, and one may question the necessity for another one. This present edition can be explained in the following way. Recently, an American lady asked me to recommend an English translation of Bhagavad Gita. Of course, in America, there are so many editions of Bhagavad Gita available in English. But as far as I have seen, not only in America, but also in India, none of them, we have made it read, none of them can be strictly said to be authoritative, because in almost every one of them, the commentator has expressed his own opinion without touching the spirit of Bhagavad Gita as it is. So you see how it actually works. Bhagavad Gita is very powerful, is unlimitedly powerful, is non-different from Krishna. But as soon as we tweak means a little bit change the message as per our whims, it is useless. Whims means my independent desire and speculation. It will just not work at all. It is so tight. As soon as we change the meaning, Krishna will not help the person who is hearing. I'll repeat it again. If you are giving the message of Bhagavad Gita as Krishna wants, then Krishna will purify the heart of the person who is hearing the message. But if I change the meaning, Krishna will not purify the heart of the soul who is hearing. Can you understand the responsibility what we have on our heads? That's why we should understand the message properly and repeat the message which is coming in parampara as it is. It will purify us, Krishna will be pleased by us, and Krishna will be pleased by the hearer, even if he does not understand. And he will reveal the knowledge to him slowly, because he himself is the revealer of knowledge. He has to be pleased to reveal the knowledge within his heart. Are you able to understand? That's why we should never change the meaning. If you don't understand, confirm the meaning from the senior devotees. Is it the proper understanding or not? Okay. So, example is given. Suppose if I say, bring me a glass of water. What do I want? A glass of water should be brought to me. Now somebody says, okay, so what he wants to say is, he wants milk. He wants some liquid thing, but better than water is milk. That's not what I wanted. So whatever Krishna spoke has to be repeated as it is. And that's why you see there were so many editions of Bhagavad Gita, but nobody made a devotee of Krishna. But Prabhupada has manifested, they've seen already how Prabhupada is very imandari, how do you say that imandari in English? Honestly has represented the message of Parampara, and that's why so many people have become devotees of Lord Krishna. Falena parichayata, you judge by the results. And the same magic can happen if we sincerely present Bhagavad Gita, then Krishna will inspire some sincere soul to accept the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, and their life will be transformed. At the end of our life, the most important thing that Krishna should be pleased. The spirit of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita itself. It is just like this. If we want to take a particular medicine, then we have to follow the directions written on the label. We cannot take the medicine according to our own whim or the direction of a friend. I told you my own example about this. It must be taken according to the direction on the label or the direction given by a physician. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita should be taken or accepted as it is directed by the speaker himself. The speaker of Bhagavad Gita is Lord Shri Krishna. Why I made it into red? We must understand that he is not an ordinary person. He is not even an extraordinary person. But he is the supreme personality of Godhead who is completely beyond any defects. Whatever he speaks is completely perfect. It has no inabilities, it has no difficulties, it has no material mistakes. He does not have to revise his edition of Bhagavad Gita. Oh, I forgot that shloka. No, he has unlimited knowledge and he has unlimited capacity to present the knowledge so that we can be understood by us. And it will help us. He is mentioned on every page of Bhagavad Gita as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. Of course, the word Bhagavan sometimes refers to any powerful person or any powerful demigod, and certainly here Bhagavan designates Lord Shri Krishna as a great personality. But at the same time, we should know that Lord Shri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as is confirmed by all great acharyas, spiritual masters like Shankaracharya, Ramarajacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarka Swami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and many other authorities of Vedic knowledge in India. So what does Prabhupada want to tell? One time devotee asked me, I think you had asked me, that why Naradji is called Bhagwan or Brahmaji is called Bhagwan, isn't it? You asked me this question. And Indra is also called Bhagwan. You must remember Jivanam Gati Agati. We have quoted this Sanskrit shloka before also. The definition of Bhagwan is given in a general sense. A person who knows the destination of Jiva, who is very powerful, he is also called Bhagwan. But Krishna is Swayam Bhagwan. Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. That means he does not depend, his existence does not depend on anybody else. He is a source of everything. Are you able to understand this point? He is not a normal Bhagwan. See, Bhagwan means possessor of opulences. But when we're talking about Swayam Bhagwan, means he's unlimited. He's a possessor of unlimited opulences. So we must understand that this concept, when we understand Shastra, it has to be understood not only by our independent capacity, but has to be understood in association with Sadhu and Guru. Shastra, Sadhu, Guru, Vakya, Chittite, Kori Eka. Shastra is there, but what does the Acharya says? You remember during the Hindi class, I made a mistake in Characharam and explained, which according to Sanskrit is okay, but that was not what Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan has explained. So I immediately corrected myself, because I don't want to deviate from the words of the Acharyas. I am a conditioned soul. As Prabhupada always many times says, I am a fool. Prabhupada is not a fool. But he presents like that I am a fool, I don't know, but Krishna, I am repeating what Krishna is saying, and Krishna is perfect. So, the understanding of Vedic literatures has to be understood in accordance with the previous acharyas, who are liberated souls. And then we can understand Shastra properly, isn't it? So, Prabhupada is saying that Krishna is accepted as Bhagavan by all the sadhus, all the spiritual masters. So we are not putting blind faith. We are putting faith, but not blind faith. Okay? The Lord himself also establishes himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the Bhagavad Gita, and he's accepted as such in the Brahma Samhita and all the Puranas, especially the Srimad Bhagavatam known as Bhagavad Purana. Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. Therefore, we should take Bhagavad Gita as it is directed by the Personality of Godhead himself. That means when we are reading Bhagavad Gita, the first point we have to accept is that this is being directly spoken by the Supreme Lord himself. This is not anybody's imagination. If we do not, if with this particle of faith or this seed of faith we start, then Krishna will help us to understand Bhagavad Gita. So what is the seed of faith that you should start with? Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead and he himself has spoken Bhagavad Gita. There is nothing, there is no incongruity in this message. There is no mistake in this message. It's 100% correct. I may not be able to understand now, but by the grace of Krishna, if Krishna is pleased, I'll be able to understand later on. Again, I'll repeat this point. Whatever is here is perfect. If I am not able to understand, it is my fault. But it is not, this is not incorrect. And if I continue in that spirit, by Krishna's mercy, I will understand one day. Yes? In the 4th chapter of the Gita, the Lord says, now Prabhupada explains this, how Lord wanted this Bhagavad Gita to be understood. See, remember we had one point which is highlighted, we have to understand Bhagavad Gita as prescribed by the Lord. We discussed this point. So now Prabhupada is quoting how the Lord has prescribed in Bhagavad Gita itself that you should understand Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes in a homeopathic medicine or an Ayurvedic medicine, in the wrapper itself, it is written how to take the medicine. देखे हैं कि नहीं देखेंगे? The benefit of the medicine and how to take the medicine is already written there. So in the Bhagavad Gita itself, it is written how to accept the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, and that has been quoted by Srila Prabhupada. You know this? Imam vivasvate yogam prokta vahanam avyayam Vivasvan manave praha manurikshva kave bravi evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakaline hamahata yogo nashtah parantapah. Somebody can put a charger here. Imam Vivasvate Yogan, this imperishable science of yoga has been described. Proktavahan aham avyayam. Avyayam means imperishable science, has been spoken by myself to Vivaswan. That means the sun god Vivaswan. And Vivaswan manave praha. Vivaswan spoke to Manu, and Manu ikshvakave bravit. And Manu spoke to Ikshvaku. So, evam parampara praptam. In this way, this knowledge was received in parampara. Imam rajarshyo viduhu. Viduhu means known. The rajarshis, the saintly kings have known this knowledge. Sakale ne hamata. By the passage of time, this knowledge was lost. Yogo nashtaha parantapa. This knowledge of yoga was destroyed. O parantapa, a person who is chastiser of the enemy. This is the meaning of the word. So what did we understand from this? You see, Lord is the original source of knowledge. Nobody knows the Lord except himself. So nobody can speculate about the Lord. So now that's why any parampara has to start from Krishna. And any bona fide knowledge about Krishna can only be received in that parampara which starts from Krishna. This is the bottom line. No more explanation needed. What are the first point? Krishna is the original person. Nobody knows him except himself. So if he is to be known, he must be known by a parampara which starts from himself. Case closed. If you ask somebody what is the parampara of somebody's spiritual master and he does not mention, then you must understand, even though it is parampara, it is useless because the originator of the parampara does not know Krishna fully. It has to start from Krishna. And you know that there are 4 bona fide paramparas: Brahma Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Shri Sampradaya, and Kumar Sampradaya. That means Shiva Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya. So Lord Krishna, Kumar Sampradaya, Kumar Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Shri Sampradaya, Brahma Sampradaya, and Kumar Sampradaya. That's called Kumar. So Krishna gave knowledge to Lakshmi Devi, Krishna gave knowledge to Brahmaji, Krishna gave knowledge to Shivji, and Krishna gave knowledge to Kumaras. And then they disseminated the knowledge, and they make sure that the knowledge which they are speaking is what they have exactly received from the Supreme Lord. Okay? This is very important. Whenever somebody asks you and you don't know, just tell them, I don't know. Like somebody asked me when Draupadi was being disrobed, Krishna had come to save her. Could others also see Krishna? I said, I don't know. I have not researched that matter from Shastra. How can I say? स एवायं मया तेद्य योगः प्रोक्तः पुरातना भक्तोऽसि मे सखा चेति रहस्यमहि तदुत्तमम्. So Krishna says, स एवायं मया ते अद्य योगः प्रोक्तः पुरातना. I am today speaking you, telling you the same knowledge. The problem with the preacher can happen sometimes that he want to speak something new, and that will create a problem. So the solution for a preacher is to not say something new. Make sense? He should not say something new. And Krishna is the original preacher, a propounder of Bhagavad Gita, and he himself says, I am telling you the same knowledge. Arjuna could have said, no, I want something new. No, I'm not telling you something new. The same knowledge which I have given earlier, because this is the only knowledge which actually can liberate a soul. And why I'm giving you Bhakto Simi? Because you are my devotee. Sakha Cheti, you are my friend. You are not envious of me. When I will tell you that I'm Supreme Personality of Godhead, you will not hate with this knowledge. Oh, why is Supreme Personality of Godhead? Why I am not Supreme Personality of Godhead? So a devotee will feel happy to understand, oh, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. My friend is Supreme Personality of God, like that. Rahasyam hi etad uttamam. This great supreme confidential knowledge is given. So the mystery of Bhagavad Gita is solved if we accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead and accept the knowledge given by him in Parampara. Then we can understand Bhagavad Gita. That is what Prabhupada is telling. So you have understood that the whole secret of understanding Bhagavad Gita, it has to be understood in Parampara, and we are in a bona fide Parampara, and it should be accepted as one should be a devotee of Krishna, one should love Krishna, and then he can understand Bhagavad Gita. Okay? Here the Lord informs Arjuna that this system of yoga, the Bhagavad Gita, was first spoken to the sun god, and the sun god explained it to Manu, and Manu explained it to Ikshvaku, and in that way, by disciplic succession, one speaker after another, this yoga system has been coming down. But in course of time, it has become lost, because people have not understood properly, and even if they have understood, they might have forgotten. Whatever is the reason, there is a nature of time that it tends to change things. Consequently, the Lord has to speak it again, this time to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. I have heard from devotees that how the whole Mahabharata is written so that people can come to hear Bhagavad Gita. People like politics and diplomacy and all those things, so that has been put so that after hearing all this, they should hear Bhagavad Gita. You can understand. He tells Arjuna that he is relating this supreme secret to him because Arjuna is his devotee and his friend. Very easy. The purport of this is that Bhagavad Gita is a treatise which is specially meant for the devotee of the Lord. And sometimes devotees of the Lord don't want to read Bhagavad Gita. That's interesting. That is interesting, isn't it? Krishna has spoken only for devotees, and nobody else can understand. And devotees don't read Bhagavad Gita. That is something quite amazing. There are 3 classes of transcendentalists, namely the Jnani, the Yogi, and the Bhakta, or the impersonalist, the meditator, and the devotee. I think these points are very clear. Impersonalist means who want to know about the impersonal Brahman. Jnani means who is meditating on Paramatma, and devotee means a devotee of Krishna. Here the Lord clearly tells Arjuna that he is making him the first receiver of a new parampara because the old succession was broken. And remember, Arjuna was a warrior, he's a grahastha, but because he was a devotee, Krishna wanted to manifest this knowledge within his heart. It was the Lord's wish, therefore, to establish another parampara in the same line of thought that was coming down from the sun god to others, and it was his wish that his teaching be distributed anew by Arjuna. Did you notice one point? Krishna is giving the knowledge to Arjuna not only or simply to destroy his ignorance, but also so that he becomes himself an authority in Bhagavad Gita and disseminate this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Disseminate means give this knowledge to others. The purpose, many times they written in the Indian schools, Jnanarth Pravesh, Sevarth Nikas, something like that. Sevarth Prasthan. Sevarth Prasthan. So when a person comes to a school, okay, he learns knowledge, but how he can use this knowledge to serve the humanity, that's how he goes out of the school. How much changed the school have become now. They come for so-called knowledge so that they can enjoy sense gratification. But it's a very deep subject matter. When we learn Bhagavad Gita, we should learn it for our own good and so that we can also help others come out of their material entanglement. He wanted Arjuna to become the authority in understanding the Bhagavad Gita. So we see that Bhagavad Gita is instructed to Arjuna especially because Arjuna was a devotee of the Lord, a direct student of Krishna and his intimate friend. So even if we are not directly hearing from Krishna, it does not matter. If we are hearing the message in parampara, then it is as good as directly hearing from Krishna. That is the whole beauty of parampara. Similarly, if we are offering our food to Krishna and we offer to parampara, the food actually goes to Srimati Radharani. Can you imagine that? Small meditation for you. Just somehow it is coming to my consciousness. If you make, it's pretty heavy meditation. Just imagine or contemplate that the food which you are going to prepare will be handed over to Srimati Radharani once we are offering it through the spiritual masters and through parampara. Can you imagine that? We cannot imagine. And somehow they are so merciful, whatever we can cook, still it gets offered. Whatever, we cannot say good also, compared to what they are cooking, what we can, I mean, it's still good, I'm just not saying bad. So he's saying Radharani will not use chili and she will only use pepper. But I'm saying what an amazing opportunity for us to, and all of the services are like this. So this is the benefit of being a servant of the servant of parampara. What amazing access we are getting. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita is best understood by a person who has qualities similar to Arjuna. That means he should be a devotee of Krishna, and he should be a direct student of Krishna or parampara. He should not hear it from somebody else, and he should be an intimate friend. He very nicely preaching is friendship of Krishna, because you want to preach the glories of Krishna. It is like being doing something which is very pleasing to the Supreme Lord. So any questions or comments are there, then I'll take up, otherwise I shall stop. Yes, Prabhu, you can take the mic. I don't think the mic will reach there, you have to come a little forward. Yes. Yes,
Hare Krishna Bhaji. My question is, if Bhagavad Gita is for only devotees, then how can we understand when sometimes like Gitayanti, we went outside and distributing Bhagavad Gita,
very
so
good.
there's not devotees and we are giving how they will understand.
That's a very good question by Rajeshwar Prabhu, that if Bhagavad Gita is only for devotees and we are distributing Bhagavad Gita to everybody, we are giving a chance to them to become a devotee. Just like our Siksha Guru Corona. Unless somebody had given you a Bhagavad Gita or a Prabhupada book, at that time we were not a devotee, but the seed was implanted. And I tell you, go more into detail. My Guru Maharaj told a very nice observation on this. He said, suppose you are distributing Bhagavad Gita, and if you distribute one Bhagavad Gita to somebody and gives you some Lakshmi, will you become happy? Rajeshwar Prabhu, will you become happy? Have you ever distributed books? So when somebody purchases a book from you, do you become happy? Yes. Okay. So now you are full initiated devotee or even new devotee, but you are still a devotee. And you are distributing a book and he has made you happy. He does not know, but he has made you happy. Has he not done Vaishnav Seva? What is your answer, Rajeshwar? Vaishnav Seva means service to a Vaishnav. He has pleased you, yes? So, all his life, did we ever get an opportunity before we meet devotees to please devotees? In our Krishna consciousness, before coming to Krishna consciousness, did we ever get an opportunity to please devotees? Most, at least in my case, I have not even seen a devotee. Not even proper devotee who is in saffron or something like that. So, what an amazing mercy for that person. Are you able to understand? He has pleased a devotee and Krishna will notice that and it has gone to his account, and then Krishna will also inspire him to meet further more devotees and do more service, and he might also, he has given money, so he has got some sukriti, and then he opens it, and if he reads, then he becomes a devotee. And then when he's reading Srila Prabhupada's purport, getting his association, and is getting transformed. So yes, they are not devotees, so they won't be immediately understanding, but you are giving them an access to the knowledge of parampara. Are you able to understand? When he will read the purports of Srila Prabhupada, all these purports are parampara purports. You understand? You have seen how he clearly follows Baldev with the Bhushan path. So he will have, at least you're giving him an opportunity to accept the knowledge. And the knowledge is absolute. If he hears, he will get purified. Are you able to understand my answer? Like this. All of us started like that only. We just read small book of Srila Prabhupada and we don't understand also, still we get purified. And Prabhupada says, even if a person touches, he will get purified. These books are so pure. And we can see, because the books are all around us, we don't feel any speciality. But if you just imagine if Prabhupada books were not on the planet, then imagine what would have been the situation of this planet. Especially in terms of giving transcendental knowledge. Then you understand the potency of Bhagavad Gita. Okay? So by giving that, also, you may be thinking that he is not a devotee in this life. But you know that bhakti is a continuous process. Externally, he may not be a devotee, but he may be a devotee from previous lives. And when he gets Bhagavad Gita, it immediately makes sense to him. I give an example. My Siksha Guru in IIT, he read Prabhupada's book called Life Comes From Life. He read it all night and morning he was a devotee. Full 16 round, everything. One night. There are some people in ISKCON who just began chanting 16 rounds within 2 days. In my own heart, I never worship any person. And nothing, no demigod. But as soon as this message was given, somebody told me in my heart, is right. And there were 400 students. So it is all continuing from your previous lives. It's not that one-time process. So we are giving them access. Okay, you are infecting them again. Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. When we are doing book distribution, so we are giving books to others.
Yes.
So in material people, we are giving books. So when they took books, so before they took book, and immediately we are happy.
Yes.
So he didn't read. He took book. That's how we are happy that immediately.
Yeah, because that is a reciprocation from Krishna. I know I was so blissful when in Kanpur I distributed Bhagavad Gita, 30 Bhagavad Gitas. But that was a blissful experience. Because Krishna is happy. Because Krishna is happy and that's why we become happy. But if you're distributing Bhagavad Gita only to get scores, you won't be happy. But if you're actually distributing Bhagavad Gita so that you're convinced this is going to help him in a mood of service, you actually become happy. Because Krishna gives you that happiness from inside. This is how it is there. All the happiness is coming from Krishna. You feel inspired to do that service. But along with distribution of book, this should be also an environment where they can read the books. Then it will help those people who are more advanced. But I was giving the example. You see, Corona, not many people are dying. But because it is infectious, it is growing on a very large scale. So even 4% seems to be very big. So I was explaining, I think in the morning, that if we infect so many people, give them Bhagavad Gita to so many thousands of people and billions of people, even if Manushanam Sahasrashu, even 1%, 2% accept, still it will be a big volume. And many of them will go back to Godhead. And Maya will be really worried. So we should continue in whichever way, distribution of books, giving the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to others, just like we are trying to do, is all in the same capacity of preaching the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Any other questions? Yes, Prabhu.
So this doubt came to my mind a few days before also, that Lord Krishna is giving knowledge to Arjuna, Bhagavad Gita knowledge. Also there are 4 parampara systems. So in which are they connected?
Very good question. There are 2 kinds of paramparas called Rajarshi parampara and Brahmarshi parampara. So the 4 paramparas which we have mentioned are Brahmarshi parampara, Rishi parampara. And what Lord is referring to is Rajarshi parampara. So Rajarshi parampara can be destroyed by Kal, by time. But Brahmarshi parampara, Rishi parampara never get destroyed. It is always maintained by Lord's arrangement. But we must understand that when it is given in Rajarshi parampara, that means if the Raja becomes knowledgeable in Bhagavad Gita, they can expand or explain or establish this dharma in a very large scale. That's why Lord gives it to the kings, so that they can understand this dharma. And just like very simple, the Prime Minister understood how the corona infection is spreading. If you and me would have understood, we cannot, even if after knowing, we cannot establish it. Okay, this is the way and people should behave like this. Now, whether you like it or not, because the government, because the Prime Minister understood, hopefully, so he's saying you behave like this. Then we are naturally forced to behave like this, and in that way, somehow that we are prevented. Does it make sense? So the leader becomes a devotee, then everybody, okay, if the leader says no more killing of cows or killing of meat, was finished. No more legislations, no more arguments, no more killing. Case closed. Just like in Bihar, they have this, no more drinking of liquor. Case closed. So he has understood this is bad. That's why Lord gives the knowledge to the supreme leader of humanity, so that they can establish this dharma properly. Foolish people anyhow don't know. It's the responsibility of the kings to establish dharma. Any other questions? Okay, so we shall stop here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.